Over 48 hours, roughly 60,000 people crossed from Morocco into Ceuta, a Spanish city in North Africa. That number is equal to more than half of Ceuta's resident population. At least 72 people died. Most of those who crossed had returned to Morocco by Sunday. The scale is real. The cause is not settled. So before any politician or viral post tells you exactly who opened the border, here is what we can verify, what we cannot, and why this tiny city became the center of Europe's migration debate. Start with geography. Ceuta is Spanish territory on Morocco's Mediterranean coast, directly across the Strait of Gibraltar from southern Spain. Its permanent population is about 84,000. The land frontier meets the sea at beaches and breakwaters, which matter because crossings happened on foot, by swimming around barriers, and through overwhelmed checkpoints. Ceuta is inside the European Union, but it is not a frictionless doorway to mainland Europe. Special identity and document checks apply when people leave Ceuta for mainland Spain or another Schengen country. Think of it as two thresholds. Crossing Morocco into Ceuta is the first. Getting from Ceuta to the rest of the Schengen area is another. That is why a map is more useful than the phrase "entered Europe." The phrase is legally true in one sense, but it can suggest onward movement that had not been confirmed at the first reporting cutoff. Now the 48 hours. On Thursday, July 30th, crowds began crossing from Morocco into Ceuta by land and sea. The flow grew far beyond the city's normal capacity. Spain deployed military personnel and reinforced police. By Friday, local Spanish officials were estimating between 50,000 and 60,000 unauthorized arrivals. Moroccan forces then tightened control on their side, and most people walked back. By Sunday, shops reopened, but rescue crews were still searching coastal waters. Spanish authorities said at least 72 people had died, including people who drowned and people killed in a crush near a breakwater. One important caution: these are breaking news totals, not a final census. Some outlets reported lower death tolls earlier because the count was changing. The responsible way to describe the event is with a range, a date, and an attribution. The headline is not that exactly 60,000 settled in Ceuta. It is that an extraordinary mass crossing happened. Most people returned quickly, and the human cost kept rising. This did not begin from zero. In all of 2025, the Spanish refugee support organization CEAR reported 3,523 land arrivals to Ceuta, up 39% from the year before. In the first half of 2026 alone, Spain's National Security Department recorded 2,582 land arrivals, up 164% year over year. The city's temporary stay center had 512 places. In September 2025, it was holding more than 1,000 people. Put those figures on one scale and the warning is obvious. The system was strained before July 30th. But background pressure does not explain a two-day spike of 50 to 60,000. It tells us the channel already existed. It does not identify the signal that caused so many people to move at once. So, what triggered the surge? 4 explanations are circulating. None has been proved as the single cause. First, Spain was running an extraordinary regularization program. More than 1 million applications were filed. But it covered people already in Spain before 2026. New July arrivals did not qualify. The policy may have shaped perceptions, but it offered them no direct benefit. Second, Spain's Supreme Court ruled in July that people intercepted at sea could not be summarily returned without due process. Spanish officials say smuggling networks distorted that narrow ruling into a rumor that the border was open. That is plausible, but it is not proof that one message moved 60,000 people. Third, witnesses said Moroccan forces initially did little, then later stopped crossings and pushed people back. Some Spanish voices see deliberate pressure from Rabat. Morocco denies wanting the crisis, and its intent has not been established. Fourth, viral posts have blamed foreign governments and secret coordination. AP's fact check found no evidence for those claims. The honest diagram has 4 branches ending in question marks. Policy, rumors, smuggling networks, and state behavior may have interacted. A story can be politically useful and still be unproved. Ceuta has seen a version of this before. On May 17th and 18th, 2021, roughly 12,000 people entered during a diplomatic rupture between Spain and Morocco. About 1,500 were minors. The immediate dispute involved Spain allowing a Western Sahara independence leader to receive medical treatment. The sudden change in cross-border enforcement showed how much Ceuta depends on cooperation on both sides of a very short frontier. But the comparison also has limits. The 2026 estimate is roughly 4 to 5 times larger. A similar image does not prove an identical cause, and the legal aftermath of 2021 continued for years. In 2024, Spain's Supreme Court ruled that the collective return of minors from that crisis was unlawful because officials skipped the individual procedures required by law. The lesson is not that 2021 proves Morocco caused 2026. The lesson is that border cooperation can change the volume fast, while law moves person by person. The numbers are so large that they can hide the people inside them. At least 72 deaths means families lost someone during a crossing that lasted 2 days. Some people drowned, others died in a crush at the breakwater. And a reception center, built for 512 places, was never designed to absorb a population-scale event. The legal system is also built around individual cases. A person intercepted at a physical land barrier may face one procedure. Someone found at sea may trigger another. A child requires safeguards that a mass return order cannot erase. An asylum claim has to be assessed on its own facts. Those distinctions sound slow because they are slow. They become almost impossible to see when every screen is dominated by one giant number. This is also why words matter. 60,000 arrivals does not mean 60,000 asylum approvals, 60,000 permanent residents, or 60,000 people who reached mainland Europe. It describes movements across one boundary during an emergency. The next steps were different for different people, and the full breakdown was not yet public. That brings us to the question behind many viral posts. Did 60,000 people enter Europe? Geographically, Ceuta is part of Spain. Politically, it is part of the European Union. But movement from Ceuta to mainland Spain is controlled. Travelers face special document checks before boarding a ferry or otherwise entering the wider Schengen area. As of Friday, July 31st, the European Commission said it had no information that people from this surge had reached mainland Europe. Most had already returned to Morocco. Others remained in Ceuta, where authorities could process cases, attempt returns, or place people in temporary accommodation. So the map needs 2 arrows, not 1. The first arrow crossed the Moroccan frontier into Ceuta. The second, toward mainland Spain, was blocked by another legal and physical checkpoint. Saying they entered Europe without showing both thresholds turns a complicated border system into a misleading shortcut. Spain's immediate answer was physical. It installed a floating barrier about 1,600 feet long beside the Tarajal breakwater. But that barrier cannot answer the central question. Why did the crowd move on those 2 days? The best evidence so far supports a verified event, a provisional count, and an unresolved trigger. Watch what changes next. The final death toll, the official arrival and return totals, criminal investigations into organized promotion, and any evidence of state direction. Until then, certainty is a political product, not a fact. If you want the follow-up after the headlines move on, subscribe to Yapnetic. We track the numbers, the systems, and what the evidence can actually support.